Hi there, my name is Hannah Laura, and as a hospice spiritual caregiver, I am coming to you right now in the middle of these unprecedented times and the threat of the coronavirus pandemic, because we as hospice clinicians are acutely aware of how very difficult and challenging and painful these times in this situation is for our patients at their end of life and our families. The nursing facilities in which many of our patients live, as they are simply trying their very best to care for and to protect their very vulnerable population from this awful virus, are not able to allow visitors at this time, which means that a lot of our patients and their families are not able to see each other, to spend time with each other, to be in each other's presence, and to make the most of these very precious moments with those they love so dearly. And then, as we all know, like most of us, we're being told, go home, stay put, and don't go out unless absolutely essential. Now, yes, as hospice clinicians, we no doubt know particularly what our patients and their families are going through in this situation and in these times of this pandemic. But we also know that this pandemic is affecting people from all walks of life, affecting people all over, across this country, around this world, in ways that are so very different and difficult. And yes, we are all being told to go home, stay put, and not go out unless absolutely essential. What that might mean is that numbers of us are feeling kind of alone, or it's being left up to us to try to figure this out, to make sense of it. Maybe we're having to process through the whole bunch of emotions, some of them not easy, that is just a part of this right now. We are trying to figure, as we sit at home, how to make meaning and how to maybe bring some purpose to days that might be feeling a little empty and are certainly vastly different from what they had been not so terribly long ago. And it occurs to me that as we are trying, each one of us in our own ways, to try to do something meaningful, do something hopeful, do something that might at least bring some measure of healing and comfort and peace to ourselves, to our families, to our communities, to the world itself. That there are a lot of different ways that some of you might already be doing to try to find that meaning, to make a difference. There's no doubt that when such difficult emotions as are kind of running right now in this pandemic, that when such emotions kind of weigh us down, that one of the things that we can do to help ourselves and then also to help others, to help our communities, our world, is to reach out beyond our own selves and beyond our own situation, and to find ways to connect with others, to maybe connect with others and together in whatever ways we can, with the technology available to us, to feel as though we're a part of making something bigger, bringing some greater meaning, that we might be a part of creating some kind of healing wave that can indeed make our own lives just a little bit brighter, and also contribute to making this world a brighter and healthier place for us all. Like I said, no doubt some of you are already doing some of those things, and continue doing them. We need everybody we can get to be contributing somehow in whatever ways they can to an energy that is full of hope and healing and potential and life. So keep doing what you're doing. If you're looking for an activity that you can do at home, I also would like to share with you the gift that I was once given of folding paper cranes. Some of you might know the story of Sadako and the 1,000 paper cranes. It's a story told that at the end of World War II, when the atomic bomb had been dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, a young girl named Sadako contracted leukemia as a result of the radiation poisoning. As she lay in her hospital bed, receiving all those treatments, sometimes painful and harsh treatments to help her get better, her friends and her classmates would come by and do what they could to help support her. They'd share with her what was going on in their lives, bring some laughter, some songs. They also told her the legend that if a Japanese girl folds 1,000 paper cranes, her one wish to get better will come true. So as you can imagine, that's exactly what Sadako began to do. She started folding 1,000 paper cranes. Now, for Sadako, the amount of radiation poisoning was just far too great for her small body to overcome. And Sadako was only able, actually, to fold some 640 plus paper cranes. But her friends and her classmates folded the rest and completed the 1,000 that Sadako had begun. It's my understanding that even today, Japanese school children often fold thousands of paper cranes, and they hang in a peace park as a symbol of world hope, healing, and peace. Some time ago, when I was a teenager, my younger sister was undergoing a series of hospitalizations, and I was incredibly worried about her. And as a teenager, I really didn't know what I could do to help her. And I had just recently been given the gift of being taught how to fold a paper crane by a Japanese exchange student that I had been teaching English to. And so one night, I sat down as a 15-year-old and I started folding paper cranes. And I folded paper cranes and I folded paper cranes because at least that way I knew I could do something to help my sister. And yes, I did manage to fold over the course of several years 1,000 paper cranes for my sister. I would like to share with you now that same gift of folding a paper crane. And we'll go over step-by-step instructions and a video that is my hope will be sufficient for you to learn how yourself to fold a crane. Now, one caveat I do want to just put in is that, yes, many of you know folding paper cranes is something called the art of origami, and there is something called origami paper out there. Believe me, you don't need origami paper to make a beautiful crane. Any lightweight paper you have lying around your house that you can make into the most perfect and exact square that you can be used to create a most beautiful paper crane. So let's begin folding a paper crane. As I have assured you, yes, you can make a beautiful paper crane with any piece of paper lying around your house, as long as it's as perfect and as even and exact a square as you can make it. I am going to be using origami paper, and that's simply because, as you can see, the one side is patterned, the other side is white. I think it'll just help us be a little bit more clear with the directions. You'll be able to see things maybe a little bit more clearly. But you are starting with any paper you can find lying around your house, so as perfect a square as possible. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to fold that paper in half. Now, a few things about origami. I think I might have 2 pieces of paper here. I do have 2 pieces of paper. One rule about origami is that, or at least folding a paper crane, I should say. One rule about folding a paper crane is that that opening of the paper will often be facing you. So it's just a good rule of thumb. Just check. If the opening of the paper is facing you, you're doing it right. Okay? The other thing is that when we fold, we want to crease very well. So sometimes I even pick the paper up off the table and crease that fold. So now, you've got your rectangle. Now you're going to pick up the upper right-hand corner of the paper, and you're going to fold that over, and you're going to fold your rectangle in half, essentially to make another square. And again, we just want to make sure that we crease those folds very well. Okay, and you've got the opening facing you. Now, one of the reasons that we crease the fold so well is because you'll discover that often you'll unfold what you just folded. That's what we're going to do now. Unfold what you just folded so you're back to your rectangle square, your rectangle shape. Okay, now you're going to pick up that top right-hand corner and you're going to fold that down only halfway, right into the middle of the rectangle. You'll already see that crease from the previous fold. So you go just as far as that crease, about halfway to the rectangle. And there you go. Looks something like that. Now, picking up the bottom left-hand corner, you're going to flip the paper over. Then you're going to do the same thing. Starting with the upper right-hand corner, you're going to fold it down to the halfway point on the triangle, up to that previously folded crease. Then you're going to fold it down, creasing well. Lay it back down on the table with the opening part facing you. And you're going to essentially have what looks like a triangle. Okay? Now, with that triangle, what we're going to do is you're essentially going to pick up the top of the triangle, the top point, and you're going to turn it 1/4 turn. Okay, let me show you that again. You're going to just pick up the top point of that triangle, turn it 1/4 turn. Opening of the paper is facing you. You're going to open up that opening, and then you're going to flatten that opening to make something that looks like a diamond shape. Okay, opening of the paper still facing you. All right, now you're going to take the right hand corner of your diamond and you're going to fold it in, again, just to the middle. You've got a crease already there from a previous fold. You're going to fold it just along the crease right down the middle of your diamond. So that essentially what you're going to end up doing is making a kite shape. So you fold that down, crease it well. Take the left hand corner, do the same thing, go in just as far as that previous crease or the crease from the previous fold, halfway along your diamond shape, and then fold it down and crease it well. Okay, so you end up with the top portion of your paper looking kind of like a kite shape. Then you're going to turn it over, and you're going to do the same thing on the other side, picking up that right hand corner, folding it in just as far as halfway down along that crease from the previous fold to continue making your kite shape. And remember to crease as you go. Take the left-hand corner, fold it in just to the crease, down the middle of the diamond. And remember to crease those folds well. These are very important to crease well. And you end up with something that looks a bit like a kite. Okay? On both sides. It'll look the same on both sides. Now, I told you, this is an important one to crease well, so you might as well just crease those once more. Because what you're going to do now is you're going to unfold what you just folded on both sides. Unfold what you just folded so that you're back to your diamond shape. And now the opening of the paper is facing you. You're going to lift just the top piece of paper. Just the top piece of paper, so it looks kind of like a mouth there. What you're going to do is you're going to fold that top piece of paper in along the creases you just made. Okay? You're going to do the same thing on the other side. You're going to fold the corner in along the creases you just made and let the paper work for you. It'll want to go to the creases, especially if you've creased it well. Okay? And then you can flatten that down and you end up back with that kite shape. And just so you get more practice, you're going to flip it over and you're going to do the same thing again. Unfold what you folded, picking up just the top piece of paper, so it looks a bit like a mouth. You're going to fold those corners in along the creases you just folded. Okay? You've kept the creases nice and crisp. The paper will just want to fold along those creases. Okay? And then you flatten that down. You flatten it all down. And you end up with something that looks a bit like this on both sides. And something that looks like this inside. Okay? So you've got two pieces that look like this. Maybe you can begin to see the crane taking shape. Okay? So got your diamond. You're going to, again, pick up just the top piece of paper. Just the top piece of paper, and you're going to bring it up as far as it'll go. You're going to put it down on the table, and you're just going to fold it into place. When you have that side done, you can just imagine you're going to just turn it over, do the exact same thing on the other side. Fold that top piece of paper up as far as it'll go, and then fold it into place. Again, let's just make sure that the folds are nicely creased. Okay? Now you've ended up with an elongated diamond. Okay? Similar to before, you're going to take that right outer corner, and you're going to fold the corner in with the paper, bringing the bottom half of the paper in with you to the middle of that elongated diamond. Just like that. You're going to do the same on the other side, taking the left outer corner and folding it in just to the inner or to the middle of that elongated diamond. Okay, so you're going to end up with something that looks a bit like that. And then, yeah, you guessed it. You're going to flip it over, do the same thing. Taking that right outer corner, folding it in, bringing the bottom half of the paper in with it, like so. You're going to fold in just along, just up until the middle of that diamond. You're going to take the left outer corner. You're going to do the same thing again. You're going to make sure that those are nicely creased. Now, perhaps you can even begin to see the crane taking shape even more. You've got something that looks a bit like this at this point. Hang in, you're almost done. Now, what we're going to do, and this is sometimes the most difficult part of the paper crane, these are its wings. You need to make a head and a tail. The way that we're going to do that is, you've got something that looks like this, you're going to, again, turn it 1/4 turn. 1/4 turn. You're going to stick your finger inside that fold that you've just made. Stick your finger inside that fold, and if you need to, you can even flatten that out as much as you need to be able to fold the point up as far as the paper will allow you to go. Okay? Don't worry if you missed that one, we'll show it again because we've got another one to do. And then you're just going to crease that point together to make it look something like that. All right? You're going to do the same with this little point that's hanging down still. You're going to do the same, so you're going to have to flip it over or flip it around, and then reach your finger inside that fold. Flatten the paper if you need to, as much as it'll go for you, and just fold that point up as far as it will go, and fold it back in on itself. And you have got yourself a head and a tail of a paper crane. Now, this is also, for me, the funnest part of folding a paper crane, because it's where we remember that grace and forgiveness are very real. You've got two little points here. One of them is probably going to be the one that looks a little bit more exact. I leave that one up for the tail. So this is going to be my tail. It looks a little bit more perfect, I guess, more pointy. The other one you can fold down for the head. And nobody needs to know if it isn't so perfect. You just fold that down for the head. And you've got yourself a paper crane. Now, the very last piece is to take those wings. You'll see that the wings want to kind of fold upwards. What I'm going to encourage you to do is to try to take those wings and use those folds that are in the middle of the wings and actually fold the wings downwards, and then just gently tug, and your crane will open up in the middle. And you've got a paper crane. Okay?